Hello students. So yesterday we had discussed about the metals as well as the properties of the metals, and today we will start with the properties of the non-metal. So before we go to the properties of the non-metal, we should know that what is non-metal. So non-metal, it means not metal. It means the elements or the substance which is not showing the properties of the metal, or which is not having which is just opposite to that of the properties of metal. So a non-metal is an element because it is also a part of a periodic table. So it is classified. It is a type of an element that is neither malleable nor ductile, as well as which do not allow electricity to pass through it, or we can say does not conduct electricity. So non-metal is an element that neither malleable nor ductile and does not conduct electricity. And there are a lot of examples of a non-metals like that of a carbon or a sulfur or phosphorus, hydrogen gas or hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen is there, chlorine, bromine, iodine is there, neon, helium. These all are the examples of the non-metal. So see here, the non-metals, they tend to be highly volatile. It means they get easily vaporized. They are having the low elasticity, as well as they are good insulator of heat and electricity. It means since it does not allow electricity to pass through it, so they are poor conductor of electricity. So they are good insulator of heat and electricity. And you see in a periodic table, 17 elements are generally, they are classified as non-metal, including that of the nitrogen. You see here, this is a nitrogen, this is a carbon, even the allotropes of the carbon like that of the diamond and graphite. These are the allotropic form of the carbon. They are also non-metal. Phosphorus as well as sulfur. And these all are the example of a non-metal. Now we'll come to the properties of non-metal. So when we talk about the properties, the first property is that non-metal, they are not malleable. We had discussed in the metal that metals are malleable. It means they can be beaten into thin sheets. Okay, but here the non-metals, they are non-malleable. Okay, so they are basically brittle. So what happen if suppose when a non-metal is hit with that of the hammer, it cannot be converted into thin sheet, or we can say that the non-metal cannot be beaten into thin sheet with the hammer. What happen if we want to beat it with the help of a hammer? Then the non-metal will break into small pieces. That's why it is brittle, not malleable. For example, sulfur or that of the phosphorus. Here, sulfur or phosphorus. So the sulfur and phosphorus are the non-metal. It means they are also non-malleable, or which are not malleable. So they cannot be beaten into thin sheet with the help of a hammer. So sulfur or phosphorus, they are brittle. When they are beaten with the hammer, they break into small pieces. So we can say that brittleness is a characteristic property of a solid non-metal. The another property of the non-metal are not ductile. It means that the non-metal cannot be drawn into wires. Metals, they cannot be drawn into wires, and due to which they are used in making the wire, electric wire. But here the non-metal, they cannot be drawn into wire. They can be easily stretched, but they cannot be drawn into wires. For example, again, if you take example of a sulfur or phosphorus, then you see they are the non-metal and they are not ductile. And when you try to stretch that of the sulfur or the phosphorus, then again you will see that these non-metals, they will break into pieces and do not form wire. Okay, so we cannot get wire from that of the non-metal. So from the above conclusion, or from this discussion, we concluded that these non-metals, they are neither malleable nor ductile, but actually these non-metal are brittle in nature. They are brittle. Then the next property of the non-metal, that is the non-metals are the bad conductor of heat as well as that of the electricity. It means that when non-metal, it do not allow heat or the electricity to pass through them. While in case of the metal, we had studied that most of the metal, they are the good conductor of heat and electricity. For example, sulfur and phosphorus, they are the non-metal. So they do not allow the heat or the electrons or electricity to pass through them. So basically we can say that these non-metals are the poor conductor of heat and electricity. So they are a good insulators. And due to this property, they are used in making handle or that of the cooking vessels. If you see that these are the poor conductor of electricity or they are the good insulator, so they are also help in making the protective covering for the wire which carrying the electricity. So you see here, the metals are the good conductor of heat, so they are used in making utensils. And non-metals are a poor conductor of a heat or not good conductor of heat, so they are used in making the handles of these utensils. If you see that the metals, they are the good conductor of electricity, so they are used in making the wires through which the electricity can pass. But in non-metal, they are the poor conductor or they are the insulator, and that's why they are helpful in making the protective covering over these wire which carries the electricity. So we can say that they are the good insulator or they are the poor conductor of heat and electricity. But there is an exception also, and that exception is diamond. I'm writing here diamond. So diamond is what? Is a non-metal because it is a form of a carbon. So diamond is a good conductor of a heat, is a very good conductor of a heat. Another form of the carbon only, that is graphite. Except that of the diamond, another one is there, and that is graphite. Graphite is also a form of a carbon, is also a non-metal, but graphite is also a good conductor of heat and electricity. You see, the graphite is used in making the dry cells. So basically it is used as electrode in that of the dry cell. So non-metals are poor conductor of heat and electricity, but diamond and graphite are the exception, which are the good conductor of electricity. Then the next one, if you see that these non-metals, they are not lustrous. Lustrous, it means they are not shiny, they are dull in appearance. So these non-metals, they do not have luster, which means that they do not have a shiny surface. The surface is not shining as in the case of that of metal. The solid non-metals, they are having the dull appearance. For example, of the sulfur or phosphorus. So these are the non-metals which do not have a luster at all. so they appear dull. Again, there is an exception, and that is iodine. Iodine is a non-metal, but it is having the lustrous appearance. Okay, it is having the shining surface. So iodine is an exception. It is lustrous. It is having a shining surface, as well as if you see diamond. Okay, diamond is used in making jewelries, and you know that diamond is the allotropic form of a carbon. It is a type of a carbon, it's a form of a carbon. So carbon is a non-metal, so diamond is also a non-metal. So diamond is used in making jewelries. Why is this so? Because it is having the luster in it. Okay, it is having shining surface. So iodine and that of the diamond, these are the exception, while the other non-metal, they are non-lustrous, they are dull in appearance. The next one is the non-metals. They are generally soft. So most of the solid non-metals, they are quite soft. It means these non-metals, they can be easily cut with the knife. For example, sulfur and phosphorus. So sulfur and phosphorus both are the solid non-metal, but you see they are quite soft. It means they can be easily cut with the help of a knife. But again, there is an exception, and that is one form of a carbon is there, and that is the allotropic form of a carbon, that is diamond. Diamond is extremely hard non-metal, or you can say that diamond is a non-metal, and diamond is the hardest natural substance known. Okay, so it is the hardest substance, as well as you say it is a non-metal. So except that of the diamond, all the non-metals, they are basically they are soft as compared to that metal, but diamond is the hardest natural substance. These non-metals, they can exist in all the three forms at the room temperature. So we can say that the non-metal, it may be solid, it may be liquid or gases at the room temperature, or it can exist in all the three physical states of the solid, liquid and the gases. For example, carbon or sulfur or phosphorus, these all are the solid one. These all are the solid non-metal. So you can see here that out of that of the 17 non-metal, this 6 non-metals are solid at room temperature. Then the second one is the liquid. So you see bromine. Bromine is the only non-metal which exists in a liquid form at the room temperature. Then the next one is the gases. There are a lot of gases like that of the oxygen or nitrogen or oxygen or hydrogen or chlorine. These all are the example of the non-metals which exist as a gaseous state at the room temperature. So by this, and you see here, out of the 17, 10 non-metals are there which exist at gaseous state at room temperature. So by this you are able to understand that the non-metal which is present in the environment, or which is present in all the three physical state of matter, that is solid, liquid and gases. If you see the melting and the boiling point, so non-metals, they are having comparatively low melting and a boiling point as compared to that of metal. Okay, so see, these non-metal, they melt and vaporizes at a low temperature only. Okay, at a low temperature as compared to that of metals, they are hard enough, so their melting point and the boiling point is very high. It means it melt and vaporizes at a high temperature, but the non-metal, they melt and vaporizes comparatively at a low temperature. Like that of the sulfur, they are having a very low melting point. Again, an exception is there, and that is graphite, or we can say that of diamond. So diamond is having a very high melting point. Since diamond is the hardest substance known, so it need more temperature to melt or vaporize. So diamond is an exception which is having a very high melting and boiling point. Then the next one is the density. If you see, in case of a non-metal, the non-metals, they are light substance as compared to metal. So we can say that the density of the non-metal is comparatively low than that of the metal. Like that of the sulfur in a solid non-metal, they are having a low density, that is 2 gram per centimeter cube, which is quite low. And this density is due to the, most of the time it is due to the gaseous non-metal. So we can say that the density of the gaseous non-metal is very low as compared to the density of the solid non-metal. There also an example is there, exception is the diamond. Diamond is having a very high density. If you see the other property of the non-metal, that is, these non-metals are not sonorous. Sonorous, it means which produces sound, ringing sound. So they are non-sonorous, they are insonorous. It means that the solid non-metal, they do not make sound when we strike them. Metal, they were sonorous, but non-metal, when we strike them, they do not produce a ringing sound, so they are not sonorous. There are another property of that of the non-metal. The non-metal are having a low tensile strength. So they are not very strong. They are not very strong. That's why they are having the low tensile strength. So when we talk about the low tensile strength, it means that they cannot hold a large weight for a long period of a time or without breaking. It cannot hold a large weight without breaking. For example, graphite is a non-metal which is not strong at all. So it is having a very low tensile strength, and when you keep a large weight on that of the graphite sheet, then what will happen? The graphite sheet will break, which proves that it is having the low tensile strength, or it is not very strong as like that of metal. The other property of the non-metal, that they may have a different color. So they may have a different color. For example, the color of the sulfur, that is yellow. Phosphorus, white. Graphite, black or gray, you can say gray also. Chlorine yellowish green or yellowish, yellow, you can also say yellow. Bromine, red brown. Okay, hydrogen and oxygen, they are colorless. So you see, the lot of the non-metal, they exist in a different color. Now see here, when you see the periodic table, then you will find that the number of the metals are more as compared to the number of non-metals. So we can say that the number of metals, they are large as compared to number of non-metal, that is small. Even then also, these small number of non-metal or these non-metal, they play a vital role in our daily life. The best example is that of the carbon. So carbon is a very important non-metal, or is the most important non-metal, because all the life on the earth is basically made of, or we can say it is totally based on that of the carbon compound. This is because you see, the carbon compound, like that of a protein or fat or carbohydrate or vitamin, enzyme, these all are consisting of a carbon in it, and these are essential for the growth and the development of the living organism. Okay, not only this, the other non-metal is that is of the oxygen. So oxygen is also very important because it's a non-metal, and you know it play a very important role for the process of respiration. Okay, nitrogen also, nitrogen is important for the proper growth of the body. So you see, all these non-metal, maybe they are present in a very small number in the periodic table, but even then also they play a very vital role in the life of living organisms. Now we will talk about the difference between that of the metal and the non-metal. So on the basis of the property, you can see here, the first property of the metals and the non-metal is luster. So shining. So you know that the metal, they are having shining surface, while that of the non-metal, they are non-lustrous. It means they do not have a shining surface. Malleability means what? When you hit it with the hammer, then it will break down, it will get converted into thin sheet. So you know that metals are malleable, while that of the non-metals are non-malleable. Next one is the ductility. Ductility is what? In which when you stretch it, it can be drawn into thin wires. So metal, they are ductile, while that of the non-metal, they are non-ductile. Heat conductivity or electrical conductivity. So you know that the metal as well as the non-metal, they are the good conductor of heat and electricity, while that of the non-metal, they are the insulator, or they are the poor conductor of heat and electricity. So they are used as a insulator. Hardness, the metal, they are very hard. They cannot be cut with the help of a knife, except that of the sodium or potassium, while the non-metal, they are soft in nature, so they can be cut easily with the help of knife. Sonorous, it means it produces sound. So when you hit a metal, then it produces a sound. That's why these metals are sonorous, while the non-metal, they are non-sonorous. It means it does not produces sound. Melting point, since the metal, they are very hard, so it need a good temperature to melt and vaporize. So we can say they are having a high melting point, while that of a non-metal, they are having the low melting point as compared to metal. Density, these metals, they are having the high density, while that of the non-metal are having low density. Physical state, most of the metals, they exist in solid state, except that of the mercury, which exists in a liquid state. none of the metal exist in gaseous state, while that of a non-metal, it can exist in all the three states. You know that the this some of the metals, some of the non-metals, they exist in solid state. Bromine, it is a non-metal which exists in a liquid state, and other some of the non-metal, they exist in gaseous state. So they can exist in all the three states of matter. So this is the difference between the properties of between the metal and non-metal on the basis of their properties. Now we will see the next one, and that is metalloids. So when we talk about the metalloids, you see that there are few elements which shows both the properties. That is, some properties of that of the metal, while some properties of that of the non-metal. So in a periodic table, you will see a stair shape like a line is there, and this line is covered with that of the element or with that of the element that we called as a metalloid. Metalloid is what? Oid, it means like or similar to. So we can say that these are the element in the periodic table which have the properties of both the metal and non-metal. It means it is having the properties similar to that of the metal and similar to that of the non-metal. So having the properties of both of the metal and non-metal defines the metalloid. Now example is, for example, you see like metal, they are brittle. They look like a metal. The metalloids, they look like a metal, but actually they are not. They are brittle in nature. That is a property of a non-metal. The second thing, that they neither conduct that of the electricity like that of the metal, nor it is an insulator like that of the non-metal. So what are they? If suppose they are not having a good conductivity like that of the metal, or insulator like that of a non-metal, so they are what? They are semiconductor. They are semiconductor. So see here, the solid, it can be shiny or dull. They can conduct heat and have electric charge, but not as well as metal. So they are not a good conductor of a heat and electricity, as well as they are not the insulator like that of the metal, but they are semiconductor. They are ductile and malleable, so they look like that of the metal, but actually they are not ductile and malleable. They are brittle in nature. So we can say that the properties of these metalloid is the intermediate between the properties of the metal and that of the non-metal. So example of the metalloids are, so lot of some of the elements are there which are the metalloid, shows the properties of both, that is like of boron or silicon, as well as germanium, so these are the elements which is present in the periodic table at the Z line of that periodic table, which basically they are showing the some of the properties of the metal and some other properties of the non-metal, and that's why they are known as a metalloids. Okay, so we had discussed about the metal, non-metal, the properties of a non-metal, difference between them, and metalloids. Now, if suppose a question is asked that state two reason, REASION, REASON. State two reason that copper is a metal and sulfur is a non-metal. So if such kind of a question is asked, then what you have to do, you have to simply write the two properties of that of the metal and make it differ from that of the non-metal. Like if it is asking about the copper and sulfur, so you make a table here. In the first one you will write copper, and the second one you will write sulfur. So first property of that of the copper, that copper is malleable and ductile. It means it can be harmed into thin sheet as well as drawn into wire, while that of the sulfur, they are neither malleable nor ductile, it is brittle. Okay, so this is the property which make the copper and sulfur differ from each other, as well as it tells that copper is a metal and sulfur is a non-metal. The second property is copper is a good conductor of heat and electricity, while that of the sulfur is a bad conductor of heat and electricity. Okay, so you can, if he right now here it is asked about the two reasons, you if it is asked more than a two reason like 3 or a 4 or 5, so on the basis of the property of the metal and non-metal, you can distinguish the two elements from each other.